Assalamualaikum. This book examines how Israel's 8-decade occupation of Palestine has enabled it to develop and refine military and surveillance technologies. Israel has developed a world-class weapons industry with weapons tested on Palestinians, then marketed as battle-tested. The technologies are exported globally, often to authoritarian regimes. Israel's isolation in the Middle East, surrounded by what it perceives as enemies, forced it to develop indigenous weapons. France and the US became Israel's biggest military backers. Militarism became its guiding principle. Ending the conflict with Palestine is bad for business. The author scrutinized how Palestine is used as a testing ground for various methods of control, including surveillance, home demolitions, and indefinite incarceration. He highlights instances such as the deployment of Pegasus spyware that targeted individuals like Jeff Bezos and Jamal Khashoggi, and weapon sales to Myanmar military involved in atrocities against the Rohingya population. Israel's emergence as a leading exporter of security and defense technologies influences global conflicts and human rights practices. Israel has relations with a staggering number of dictatorships. For example, it maintained friendly relations with tyrannical Romanian leader Nicolae Ceausescu for decades, despite knowing about his anti-Semitic opinions. After a massive purge of communists in Indonesia in 1965 that led to the death of at least 500,000 people, Israel and most Western powers maintained ties with the regime of General Suharto. A few months after the slaughter, declassified documents show that Mossad knew what happened. Nonetheless, Mossad initiated a closer relationship with the dictator, which was kept secret. Israel supported Augusto Pinochet regime in Chile and supplied arms and military expertise during his dictatorship. Daniel Silberman was a Chilean Jew whose father was arrested, tortured, and forcibly disappeared. His family escaped to Israel, where he discovered Israel's complicity in supporting Pinochet's regime, including providing tools for repression. In the 1970s, Israel partnered with Argentina, which under Juan Perón welcomed many high-profile Nazis, including Holocaust architect Adolf Eichmann. Argentina was a military dictatorship during which around 30,000 Argentinians were murdered or disappeared. The military junta tortured Jews in its prisons. Declassified documents show that Israel knew and did not care. Israel is a willing participant in Washington's domination goals. Where the US was not able or willing to sell weapons directly, Israel acted as the intermediary. In 1983, Mossad and CIA signed an agreement on joint operations in Lebanon, Afghanistan, Central America, and Africa to counter Soviet influence. In return, Israel gained information from US surveillance about the Middle East. Israel assists governments that want to isolate its ethnic minority. For example, Israel helped Sinhalese politicians in Sri Lanka build and maintain Sinhalese enclaves in the north and east of Sri Lanka, where most Tamils live. It creates buffer zones around the Tamil majority areas and establishes an unofficial occupation of Tamil territory. The ideas were taken directly from Israel's presence in the West Bank, where Palestinian sovereignty is denied with numerous fortified Jewish colonies. If you are baffled by India's staunch support for Israel, this book explains why. Indian officials do not hide their admiration for Israeli occupation. They look at Israel's repression of Palestinians as a model to follow to repress India's Muslim population. The relationship between India and Israel is not just based on ideology, but most importantly, ethno-nationalism. Ultimately, India wants to replace the Muslim population in Kashmir with Hindus. It's not just Kashmir. In 2022, authorities in Uttar Pradesh demolished the homes of Muslims accused of religious protests. The sights of bulldozers destroying homes was eerily similar to what Israel has been doing in the West Bank. Israel uses advanced monitoring systems such as facial recognition, spyware, and biometric tracking to control Palestinians. Its expertise in cyber surveillance and homeland security has made it a key player in the global security industry. Israeli companies such as NSO Group, known for its Pegasus software, have sold these technologies to authoritarian regimes and democracies alike, often enabling human rights abuses. The widespread use of Israeli surveillance technology has far-reaching consequences. It has been used to suppress press freedom. Journalists in multiple countries have been targeted, leading to intimidation, self-censorship, and in extreme cases, violence or assassination. Human rights activists, especially those exposing government corruption or working on sensitive issues, have found themselves under digital surveillance, leading to arrests or forced exile. Israeli spyware allows governments to control and silence critics, helping autocratic governments consolidate power and suppress opposition movements. Israel has built a lucrative surveillance industry by refining surveillance tools in the occupied Palestinian territories. The global spread of these tools raises ethical concerns about Israel's role in enabling repression worldwide. Critics argue that by selling such technology to regimes with poor human rights records, Israeli companies and governments are complicit in global human rights abuses. Israel does not care about the law or ethics or how its technologies are used to oppress people around the world. Hardly shocking. After all, Israel isn't the epitome of good morals. Profit is the only thing that matters. Now, do you understand why activists say that we are not just fighting to free Palestine? We are fighting to safeguard our freedom and rights. I give you just a glimpse of what is discussed in this book. To understand the far-reaching consequences, you can get this book using the links below. There is also a link to the author talking about this book. If you like listening to me babbling about books, please subscribe and turn on notification. Thank you.